Rating. Restart that real quick. Hey, well, at least YouTube is here. All right, guys, so I'm going to do the thing, and then I'm going to come back and pause it. How it's going to work is I'm going to do the thing a little bit, then I'm going to come back and give you the info. So here we go. Okay, everybody, welcome. My name is Lou Lombardi. You guys might know me from my podcast, Lou Dini Rock and Roll Circus. But today I want to talk to you guys about the classic track, Time by Pink Floyd, and why it is a perfect platform for learning to play the changes. You might hear different guitar players say, oh, man, he's not playing them changes, or, oh, I love the way he plays those changes. What does that mean? What that means is as the chords are going by, you are referencing the notes from the chord. That's all that means. And it can really tickle the ear in a really, really great way if you can do it. So this is a kind of next level kind of thing. You might know the scales. You might know some licks. Maybe you know some other people's solos. But really being able to kind of like whatever chord changes we pick up, to go through and be able to sort of reference them as the chords are going by really takes your soloing to like a whole other level. And it turns out that this song by Pink Floyd, this progression is absolutely great for doing that because it's not fast. So it's not like, learning, some John Coltrane thing or something where some fusion thing where like the changes are going by like that. It is slow. So that number one. The other thing is it's all in one key. Yes, there is a feel change in the B section, but I'm going to explain it to you. Technically, it never leaves the key of A. Starts out with F. So let's talk about the chords real quick. Starts out with F sharp minor. Oh, by the way, I tuned down a half step, so don't look at my fingers. I'm going to be talking the actual concert pitch that the track is in. Not what the guitar is tuned to. So the chords are F sharp minor to A minor, A major, then to E major, like F sharp minor. That is the key of A. If you like to think, if you're a guy who likes modes, whatever, maybe you could call that F sharp Aeolian if you'd like. But to me, I just think it's just simpler. It's just the key of A. and especially going to make it even easier when we get to the B section, which is D major 7 to A major 7. So if you just think key of A, this stays the same. D major 7 to A major 7, D major 7 to C sharp minor 7 to B minor 7 to E again. Never leaves the key of A. So that makes our work like a lot easier. We're not worrying about key changes on top of everything else. So there's a lot of different ways you can reference the chords. I would tell you to just start with whatever chord shapes you already know how to play. You know, you're going to see me do different chord shapes as I go through this, but do the ones that you know how to do. So if you know that, make sure you learn those chords and just work around. So go real nice and slow. The track is slow. There's a lot of time to sort of develop something almost on every single chord. So the first one is that F sharp minor. So you know, there it is. Then the B flat. Then the F. Back to F sharp minor. So that's just, I just did a very simple little thing there just to show you what you can do. Then, and here's what's really cool about these changes here. Don't let these major 7 things intimidate you. I'm going to show you something that'll connect these chords for you very easily. If you can find notes in common, that makes it a lot easier. And I don't really want to get into a big long lesson about like every note that's in common, but look for that. For instance, in the F sharp minor, the next chord is A. Well, the A is in F sharp minor. So you play that shape of A from F sharp minor. You see that there's notes in common, and then the E is a common note between E and A. So you have that note in common. So those things will help you link up the chord changes. Well, let's get to that next section here. This D major 7 to A major 7. What's very cool about this, the 7th degree, or the 7th note in the D major 7 is that C sharp. It's also the 3rd in the A chord. So that it has this note in common. So you can connect them, and if you listen to the melody of that track, that note is very heavily in there because it's part of the melody, that C sharp. So, and it crosses between those two chords. It has that note is in common with both chords. Both chords have that note in common. That is going to give you a connection there. So don't let things like major 7. Really, it's just D to A. So if you want to simplify it, you can think of it that way. And the same way here, we have that. When we go down to the C sharp minor, that C sharp note is in there because now it's the root note of C sharp minor. So there's a lot of places to connect there. So I might do something like for the D major 7 thing, I might be doing. Then when the A comes in. Okay, then when the C sharp. Okay, so I just followed through those things. So when you get to the B minor, then you're back to the F sharp minor. This is a great track for doing, again, because it's slow. Look for those notes in common. And, if you're not interested in playing the changes, well, then you're kind of missing out. That's really the next level. We could talk briefly about scales. You'll hear and see me do some different things here. And I'll just go ahead, because I'm not just playing the chord notes. I'll just tell you real quickly. I am basically just playing the A major scale. I messed that all up. There it is. I forgot that I was. I got a little mixed up because I'm tuned down. But that is mainly where that is the primary thing I'm working on. However, because there is this F sharp minor thing, you can always play the minor pentatonic, which means you can 90% of your like blues licks and things will work there as long as you don't play this note. Okay, that is unless you hit it really quick. Use it as a passing tone or something like that. But typically, you don't want to get that major third in there over the F sharp. So any of all that will work. Even the 6 and 7 note blues scales. So I'll do stuff like that in it as well. And if you want to hear on the turnaround chord, for those of you guys who are like maybe a little more jazzy, I will do. Sometimes you hear me do something like that. That's a little bit of a flat 5, sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 9 ideas that I'm kind of like working in. That's like one place you can do stuff like that. Just a quick note on stuff like that. That stuff sounds awesome as long as you do it like once in a solo. You don't want to turn the whole solo into stuff like that. Very few guys can really manipulate that really well. Robin Ford's good at it, but even he uses it as a kind of like a like a certain spice on the spice rack. It's not the main flavoring. Okay, so there are places to work in those fun ideas too. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit more. Then I'll give you guys. I'll let you know what I'm doing with my setup here. Obviously, I'm not playing my Les Paul or my Telecaster, so I'll get into that here in a minute. Okay, I'll do some blues stuff. Have your arpeggio back to the F sharp minor. Sorry. the minor and put this position here. Is that E? Back to referencing the minor again. Back to the major. Doing some Aeolian stuff. It always works. A little diminishing over the 5 chord. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap up. That is, by the way, the track is from the channel Now You Shred. The link is in the description below. So I love this. I love his tracks. He does a great job. This is a little older one he did back in 2016. It's a little longer than a lot of his, so it gives you more time. He probably made it a little bit longer because it's got a couple different sections in it. But I would encourage you so you can go get the track right now and you can listen and you can jam along. Support his channel too. Subscribe. It's cool stuff. Quick note about my setup. I digress. I was working this out on the Les Paul back here and thought, I have a Stratocaster that I hardly ever play, and this is a David Gilmour thing, so let's get out the old Strat. This is a 1987 Strat Plus Deluxe, and yes, it has been retrofitted with different pickups. Those are not the Lace Sense pickups. I never liked them. Sorry if you like Lace Sense pickups and just never dug them. I put in the Texas Specials. That's what this is. The electronics have been slightly modified. I'm going to modify it further, but it has a push-pull on this last thing. I never use this. I bought this off my my first mentor guitar teacher. Great guy. But he installed this thing here. We pull it out, and it gives you either all 3 pickups, or it will give you just the 2 outer pickups. And personally, to me, a Strat should just be a Strat. I don't really want that. What I'd like to have is a tone control just for the bridge pickup, because the bridge pickup's a little harsh, so it'd be nice to be able to roll off some highs on that sometimes when you're using that, like I can do on my Telecaster and like I can do on my my Gold Top. So that would be on. So that'd be something. Anyways, and in terms of effects and crap like that, not really a whole lot of stuff here. I'm running this into a compressor pedal and into my Seriatone Overtone Special. It is the amp is pretty much like all the distortion is dimed, and I just bleed in the tone controls just enough to kind of like get like a cool tone, get like a cool sound. And I don't have any. The only switch I have engaged on it is the bright switch. the deep and that's rock jazz thing. The rock jazz thing's always in the jazz position. I found out that those switches on this head just are kind of like, they just mess up the sound. It's just the whole thing's way easier to use and to get a tone without even touching those things. So I work around them. And I'm not miking any cabs. I'm using an IR from the Moore Radar. That's a Fender Twin, and the reverb and delay and stuff, that's just in the computer. That came with my interface, and it's good is good enough. I wouldn't necessarily record with it, but for these videos to give a little bit of ambient sound on it, that's good enough for me. I'm going to jam out for the rest of the video. Guys, thanks for watching. Please check the links below. There's a link to, if you like what I'm doing and you like great guitar-driven rock, I have a whole community of people totally free to join at LouLombardiRocks.com, so check it out. And thank you so much to Now You Shred for the great track. All right, guys, let's rock out on the way out here. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for hanging out.